What's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to Grayson Media Inc. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe across all platforms. Enjoy the show. Grayson out. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Grayson Politics Live. I'm your host, Grayson. Tonight we will have a special guest. I'll bring him up momentarily. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Grayson Politics Live, a Grayson Media Inc. production. I'm your host, Grayson, and if you watched this program before, you already know that we stand for facts, transparency, and accountability. Tonight, we're going to have a serious conversation about the future of Jersey City. We're going to talk about property taxes. We're going to talk about whether working people can still afford to live in Jersey City. And we're going to talk about development. We're also going to talk about affordable housing, and we're going to talk about the canal crossing on Garfield Avenue. For those who don't live in Jersey City, that's in Jersey City. And we're going to talk about a proposed municipal property tax increase that what it means for homeowners, renters, seniors, and working families. We're also going to specifically examine what these economic pressures mean for the African American community and other historical underserved communities. And later, we're going outside New Jersey and looking at what's happening in Gary, Indiana, where residents have endured extraordinary power crisis following severe storms. But I'm not having the conversation alone tonight. I'm having someone with me that has experience in government law and law enforcement and in New Jersey legislator and civil rights advocacy. So we're going to have a conversation. There'll be many areas where we'll agree and possibly where we'll disagree, but that's okay. Let me just pull this up. Sorry. But that's how Grayson Politics Live is what was all about. So facts, transparency, and accountability. So let me introduce Assemblyman and currently Jersey City NAACP President Charles Mainor. Let me bring him up. Hold on one moment. Good evening, Assemblyman.
Hey, good evening, sir. How are you? How you doing?
Man,
Thank you for having me.
oh, thank you for being on. Let me get you a sorry, I'm a one-man band here,
That's
so
all
give
right.
me one moment. Let me give you your flowers. Let me see where we at here. Applause. Where we at? There we go.
No. Now I feel special. Now I feel special. Thank you.
Okay. Um. So, my guest tonight is Jersey City State Assemblyman and current Jersey City's NAACP President Charles Mainor. Assemblyman Mainor, welcome to Grayson Politics Live. Thank you for being here. And now I could sit here and read your entire resume, but that's not how I want to start the show, the interview. I want people to hear you directly from you. So, Assemblyman, the floor is yours.
Well, let me first start by saying I'm the former state assemblyman. I'm not the
That's
assemblyman
right.
currently, so I want to
That's
make sure I don't want to take away from anyone or mislead anyone. I
that's
am
right.
the I am the president of the NAACP, born and raised right here in Jersey City, a stone cold lover of Jersey City, New Jersey. I love my city, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to stick around a little longer and be a part of this city.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Um, for someone watching us tonight, who may recognize Charles Maynard but doesn't know the man behind the name, tell us about yourself.
Well, like I said, I was born and raised here, public schools, uh, um, NJCU graduate. I was a police officer for 25 years. I retired. My claim to fame is that I retired at the age of 47. Yes, yes. My hero, of course, was my mom, who actually took me to take the test to become a cop, and she's always been the one pushing me. I run a program for young men called the Build Foundation, which stands for Boys Undertaking Intense Leadership Development. And what we focus on is entrepreneurship, buying in homes, and number one thing is how to day trade. So they learn how to actually day trade and actually buy stock. So we're putting in, these are sixth, seventh, and eighth graders, and I'm telling you, they're amazing kids. Our theme pretty much is that what all of our children is to put them in a position to thrive, so they can win. It's a win-win situation. If you change, so the number one theme is, if you change the way a child thinks, you change the way they live. And that's not only with children, that's with people also. And I guess as we talk, you'll see exactly what I mean.
I wish we had a when I was in high school, that was around 10 years ago, we had a economics class, and they dabbled a little bit, just a sprinkle into
Hmm.
stocks. And ever since I have a portfolio that I had since I was 18. uh, I've been growing it, and but yes, if you um I believe everyone is somewhat of a product of their environment. So I love that. I love that. I'm going to um off behind the scenes ask you more about that, and then I'll put that in the description once the show is over, because that is intriguing about that program that you have with the young men. I love
Appreciate
that.
you. Thank
Uh,
you.
most definitely, because getting into the market, knowing the market, being educated about the market. I had to teach myself, watch CNBC and
Yes.
back then, and then educate myself about stocks and dividends and trading and reinvestment, the drips and stuff
Yes.
like that. So
Yes. You know what
uh,
you're talking about.
but I had to learn.
Yeah.
So, if I had a mentor, like something like what you have now, that would have been great. And so I appreciate every little bit helps in the
Yes, I
community.
agree. I agree.
Hmm. So getting into the questions, do you believe Jersey City is still affordable for the average working family?
Not after what has just taken place. I believe that we're in a crisis. I believe that the taxes that were raised was a choice. It did not have to be raised that much. And I think that many people right now may not feel the effect of it all, but come January, everything's going to change. Everything.
And when you look at excuse me, can someone realistically grow up in Greenville, Bergen, Lafayette, excuse me, and then the west side where I live? I lived in just to be full transparency, I lived in Ward A, Ward F, grew up in B, um, on Belmont and Bergen Avenue, um, between went to PS 17 school, and then I went to charter after that. But born and raised in Jersey City all my life, and basically my question is: can someone live in these areas, working class neighborhoods, and start a career, buy a home, raise a family here? Still do that in this current Jersey City?
No,
No.
it's. I'm not going to say it's impossible. I would say that it becomes a task. With the taxes being raised to what they are, even if you didn't want to buy a home and you wanted to rent an apartment, you're going to feel that effect. And let me just explain to you why I say that. People that own homes right now, they receive their mortgage statement every month. Nothing has really changed because your mortgage is set for the year. Come January, you're going to get a letter that's going to say that you have an escrow shortage, which because in the middle of this year, the taxes went up, mortgage company paid it. That excess of that extra $2,000 or $3,000 is going to be a letter, and that letter saying, hey, your escrow is $3,000 short. Do you want to pay it off, or do you want us to spread that out over the next 12 months? Most people say, oh, no, spread that out. Once they spread that out, and then say, oh, and here's your new tax bill. So not only is the extra, let's just say $100 onto your mortgage, you got an extra $500 because of the taxes. If you was just making it now, what's going to happen in January? Your tenant who's downstairs is now he's going to get a letter or she's going to get a letter saying, listen, you can't afford to stay here for $2,000 a month no more. Your rent now is $2,500, and they're going to say, I'm not paying that. So what happens? They leave. Everything's going to be shifted down. And we're only looking at homeowners. What about the stores? The stores that's renting space. Their rent's going to go up, which means the food's going to go up, which means you're going to pay more. What about churches? We didn't look at exactly what's going to happen. And it's so unfortunate. And I want to be honest with you. I am really, really afraid as to what Jersey City is going to become next year.
Yeah, these nonprofits, the 501s, and the bodegas,
Yes.
not only the bodegas, all the small businesses that thrive. It's hard to run a small business. I'm a renter, by the way. Before my landlord was gracious to raise my rent $50, but I know, and I just renewed my lease, but I know change is coming. I've been here a while, since 2019, and he's raised it significantly over the years, but I've been a good paying tenant and stuff like that. But I know it's gonna hurt him. And either if he's not gonna raise mine, he's gonna do it. It's a 3-family house. He's gonna do it to my neighbors downstairs. So because you gotta rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yes.
He has his own bills. He doesn't live here. So
and he knows how much he wants to make a month, and he's not going to cut in on what he's expecting to get.
correct.
Someone else is going to have to pay that cost.
Correct. So I want to make an important distinction that I'm not against development, but development means jobs. Development can increase the tax base. Development can improve neighborhoods. So the question isn't should Jersey City develop, or the question is who benefits from development, and what's your answer over the years under the full up and
Well, I would say that under the last administration, I think developers pretty much gained more. I don't think that the developers invest into the city as much as they should.
Mhm.
But by creating a development, by having it there, it does create jobs. The only thing is that Jersey City doesn't enforce it. We allow others to come in from other towns and build our city when, Mike and John and Peter and Susie, they need jobs also. And I believe that if we was to stick with the making it where as though Jersey City first, I think we'll all benefit greatly. Do we need development? Sure. The city is growing. The country is growing, and we need to stay within the times. Things are changing. It's not like when I was coming up. Things are changing, so development has to happen. More and more people are moving in. Buildings are getting taller. Someone has to build it. Someone has to secure it. Someone has to clean it. Someone has to manage it. Those are jobs that should be for Jersey City residents first, and I don't think we've done that.
I agree with that. I work in the city wholeheartedly. I'm a card carrying member of the Hotel Trades Council,
There it is.
and been in the industry for about close to 20 years, 17 years. But
Okay.
um, my union is also in Jersey City now. They occupied the Western Jersey City, a couple of properties across Jersey City now, and stuff like that are now unionized. And I opened the Western Jersey City
Oh,
back in
nice.
2009. I opened that property, and that was under the Healy administration.
That was the first hotel, wasn't it?
That was the first. Well, the courtyard was the first one down there, and the DoubleTree.
The
Then the
DoubleTree.
Western was
Okay.
the first like luxury.
Luxury. Yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
And so I remember um, a caveat on the tax break that they got. I think it was maybe for 5 years or whatever the case may be. Because look, I don't. I know business has to be done, but
Yes.
the caveat was when I was being interviewed, do you live in Jersey City? And I was wondering why they kept asking me, do you live in Jersey City? Because the deal was that they didn't pay taxes for about, I think, 4 or 5 years or whatever the case may be, if they hired only 80% of the workforce in Jersey
Jersey
City.
City.
And we need more of that, like you
We do.
said.
We do.
uh it makes no sense that General Squared and the Journal and all these luxury high rises are going up and stuff like that. First of all, they're not paying anything or whatever. According to the current administration, they're not paying anything. Might as well have the workforce, because I can go straight up on the hill. Many people who needs these luxury buildings, charging 4, 5, 6, 7 grand. Even by me, there's a development going up here right outside my window. I'm sure that they're not going to be employing Jersey City residents.
They're
So
not.
it's very sad. The current administration ran on affordability, and they need to enforce that component of keeping Jersey City within Jersey City.
Well, how could you ask the current administration to do that when they didn't even hire Jersey City residents? So where are we going? Come on, you can't get you're not going to get no more from them. And I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm against developers. I love developers because they are in a position to help us grow. I just
Hmm.
want to make sure that they do their fair share because people like you and I that are born and raised here, when the development wasn't really of nothing, we stayed and we helped build Jersey City to what it is. So now we at a certain point where we can't even benefit from what we helped establish. That's not fair. That's not
I'm
fair.
I'm old enough to remember Assemblyman, Count, and President, when they were bringing. We didn't have when we just had land on Johnson Avenue,
Yes,
and the Schindler administration was bringing in those prefab houses
yes, yes,
on
yes.
trucks.
Yes.
I'm old enough to remember that. And and
Remember that.
and 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 to promote housing in Jersey City. And that was the start of it. That was a start of, let's it was good for what that administration did for the city at that time.
Right.
And most of the people are and I think the lock-in was you couldn't sell that
You
house for
couldn't
the
sell a
next
house.
25,
Yeah.
the 30 year. You had to stay in that house. And I think most of the people are still in those
They said
houses.
on Bayview Avenue,
Mhm,
Myrtle. Yes, all of those.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And you know the
Most
greatest thing about that, there was an Afro American man who was the head developer that helped put those houses up. Sheldon
see,
did that with him. It was absolutely on the money.
see. Um the administration says it inherited a fiscal crisis of 255 million, and it says the budget contains more than 58 million in spending reductions. It also says that approximately 109 million of the 2026 budget represents inherited unpaid obligations. Now I'm gonna go off script here,
Please, come on.
uh, because this is what gets me. And the current my generation has a saying that if the math ain't mathing, no, it's just simple arithmetic here. You
Yes.
know, after I'll cut the current administration some slack. I know there was a lot of foolery and trickery with the last administration, but this administration, I'll give them a pass after that snowstorm on the spending, because I know for a fact that that was unexpected, number one,
Okay.
and that snowstorms, we got hit within a 2 week span or whatever the case may be, that can really hurt a the
Municipality.
city. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. It could really hurt the city financially, with overtime and labor, and not only that, supplies and stuff like that. You got people working 12-hour, 20-hour shifts and stuff like that. It really takes a strain financially. I remember when we had it back in, we haven't had snow in so long, before that, but it really takes a financial strain. But after that, this administration, and I think the mayor is away. I really don't, but I hope he watches it back or whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
because I think he has an acting mayor in place right now. But anyone from his administration is watching this. You didn't get the slack should not have been cut off. Right there, after that snowstorm went away and we cleaned the streets and stuff like that, we should have opened his administration should have opened the books, been knew, talked to council president and the council and said, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we inherited, this, that, and the other. No, he went to the state, negotiated something, a deal with Cheryl, and then and her administration. And then, you know, I'm not a big fan of Denise Ridley,
Okay.
but what I will say is I'll give credit when credit is due. And she was blindsided. Her and this current new council was blindsided. Um, and that's not fair. And Lavaro spoke about it at that first council meeting and said, "You want us to just, he said, I ran on your ticket. He said, I ran on your ticket." And he said, this may be political suicide. But he said, I don't care. He said, because I'm for the people. And you don't do stuff like that. You be transparent. He could have said, they're in the same building. Same building. All Solomon had to do, and Solomon sat on that council and did this and negotiated this and stuff like that. And now his CFO leads they consolidated, gave him a $60,000 raise, and now he needs another assistant for 150 grand.
Yes.
And then we did these waivers for these people, and
Yes.
some of them on the council too, not from Jersey City. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I get upset about, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about. And what's your take on that?
Well, first and foremost, I think that having a waiver is totally is wrong. I I don't understand why uh, you would think that you can't get talent right here in Jersey City. I can't for the life of me figure out why you would think that there's nobody on that police department that could have ran this police department. There's nobody in the fire department who's been there for so many years that could have ran. When you bring the outside in, there's no feeling about what takes place. No one is going to vote or fight against a tax increase if it doesn't affect them. Their taxes is not going up. Ours is. And then when you have people in your administration that make comments such as, well, if you can't afford here, move. That's not fair. It's not fair for the mayor to come on and say, I'm going to live off of $1 for my yearly salary. You're doing that, mayor, because you can. I can't. I have to go and get another job to make a couple of more dollars so that I can stay. So it makes me wonder, are you really being sympathetic or are you teasing me? That's just not fair. So by having, and then when to the council, I believe it was 4 of them that was automatically ready to vote.
Yes,
No
yes.
one would, who's representing us? Where is the, listen, let's get an audit. Where is it? I'm not sure about this here. And then to come to find out, if, and I could be wrong, but I was told that the deficit wasn't 255 million. It was 94 million. And so we took all that money in for what? To give your people a raise. That's just not fair. It's just not fair, you know. And I don't know. And I'm gonna tell you, and I want to be honest with you, I supported Mayor Solomon.
Likewise.
I supported him because the conversation, he sat there and he said his vision. He said that he was willing to do XYZ to show this, that, and the other. He wanted to bring the city forward, you know, and I believed him. And he bamboozled me. But what hurts the most is that I brought him in front of other black leaders and he bamboozled them. Then I took him over in front of a group of Hispanics and he bamboozled them. And it's just, I don't want to say it's personal, but it's personal
It
because whatever
is.
you do to me, I can deal with it. But I took you to my friends. I took you
Mhm,
to people and I asked them, I think we should support him.
mhm.
And this is what happened. So I don't want to call him a liar, but he's told a many, many, many untruths. And that's not fair to the people of Jersey City.
You know, what I will say is, this is I love me some Maya and Dr. Maya Angelou, God rest her soul. She said, let me see if I'm saying
Hey,
it
come
right.
on.
She said, don't let people, if people show you once, that's it. That's all they need to show you. That's it. He already showed this card. Um, I believe Fulop did the same thing too. When he first, I supported him. He was a breath of fresh air from the Haley
Yeah.
administration. You know, a lot of people rallied up behind him when he first back in 2013,
Yes.
and I just a lot of people, you know, who weren't in support of Solomon were like, "Oh, Fulop 2.0, 2.0,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff like this." And one thing I'll give McGreevy credit is I thought the city was in a much financial better situation than I knew, especially with these giving all these tax abatements away and stuff like that over the years. I'm like, okay, you know, the city, I knew our credit rating had dropped over the years and stuff, but
Yes.
I'm thinking, you know, he's talking about these $1,000 rents, you know, even though I may not qualify, I may not be in the tax bracket to be qualified for it, my people will be. You know what I mean? And so I was in favor of that. We got to go into a little debt and get bonds and stuff like that for it. So be it. And then I'm looking and I'm like, you're spending all this money getting person from Queens and this and that and this, that, and the other. Soon, like I said, as soon and you brought him in front of people, he went over on Ocean Avenue, promised the clergy, and had a meeting with them, and you know, let's get into that. And I'm gonna go off script because I'm getting passionate about this.
I know it happens. You true Jersey City.
Because when you're born and raised here,
Yes.
you understand, and you had enough of it. You had enough from the Healy, you had enough from the full up, and now it's like third time is the charm. No, enough is enough. I'm tired of seeing my city being disenfranchised. You had, with, and I'm not gonna call out a certain community, but you had a certain community come in or up on the hill, take most of the property up there, take most of the property within Jersey City, like and none of the African and American and minority community did not get a opportunity when it came to that back maybe 5-6 years ago and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. And so I'm just sick and tired of every mayor that gets in, with the exception within my adulthood, I should say, within my adulthood, because under God rest his soul, Cunningham, and under Shunla, we had summer fun. I was a part of those, we at the Y and stuff like that. I get all of this nonsense that, oh, we can't do anything with the Y, and I know that's a development now, and that's affordable housing and stuff like that. But it really bothers me that pool and stuff couldn't been done. And then with Ridley, she said, "Oh, I got $1 million to put a community center by Bayside." The math ain't mathing. How can you put? And I lived down Bayside for about 10 years, and I still got family who own down there. How in the hell, excuse my French, you're gonna put a community center down there, or with a state of the art community center? We need pools. We need. I remember I'm old enough to remember when it was so hot that we used to, in open land, we used to put the pools out there and stuff like that. You don't see that no more and stuff like that. We had a very hot summer, and so it just bothers me to be okey doked. And Mayor Solomon, if you're watching, or if any of your administration is watching, it has to stop. It has to stop. And I have a tight work schedule, but I will make it my accountability, make it my destiny to I don't know if I'm using the right word, my agenda, excuse me, to go down to those council meetings to speak out and be heard. Because now you're starting to see a lot of people on social media come out. You got Erica Woods, you have the young lady with the sentiment, I forgot what her name was, if I'm not mistaken. Don't excuse me. We support each other a lot on social media. And it's just, whether you're born and raised here or not, but if you're born and raised here, it hurts more. And if you're here in the past 10 years, 5-10 years, you just seen a lot of bamboozlement. And I just want your take on that. I'm sorry.
No. I agree with you 100%. And I just want to stress something. The reason that the mayor is in this position is because we didn't do our due diligence. I allowed him to tell me something and I believed him. I didn't do my due diligence. And when we sit and we talk about how he speaks about, well, the last administration left us, the unfortunate thing is, sir, you were the part of that last administration.
Mhm.
And if it did go on and you didn't know nothing about it, not one time did you alert the people that you was representing. I think there's a problem. But we have to also, we got to look at it. He's not the only one from the last administration that's on that's sitting on that council today. And we need to stop looking at things in a particular way and just call a spade a spade. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And
Mhm.
yes, there may be a group of people that came up into the Greenville section and start buying up stuff. But you know something, in all honesty, they didn't do nothing wrong.
No.
They took advantage of an opportunity, the same opportunity that we could have had. Now, we can say that it would have been a little tougher for us. We can throw that argument in there, but did we try? And this is what happens to us all the time. We get into a bunch and we fall short, but we build back up. We never fall off and just float away. We always find a way to stick around. And this is what has to happen now. In Jersey City right now, there is absolutely no Hispanic representation. None.
After
None.
Rivera, yeah. No, no.
Okay, so there's no one who's speaking for them. So what do? I meet with them because if ever we needed to come together, we need to come together now. Now, we're not trying to come together to tear down the mayor, to tear down the council. We just want to come together to make sure that the decisions that are being made has our best interests at heart. You know, that's all we want. We want to be a part of. We're not going to tear down developers. The $1,000 rent, okay, that's beautiful. But how many apartments do you really think it's going to be for $1,000? And will those apartments be 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments? And how do you qualify for that? And if it's why is it only at the Bayfront? What about this new housing you're building in Journal Square, where you're tearing down the hot dog stand and Woodworth and all those, and you're building it? Are any of those going to be $1,000, or are we just going to be put on Garfield Avenue? Come on, is it fair? It's unfair that the administration prior and now has gotten themselves into such a financial hurt that you're going to put it on the backs of the homeowners. It's not fair. There's other things you can and should do before you come to us for the rest of the money. And that's how I feel.
I feel that I agree with you wholeheartedly. I feel like with each administration, especially this one now, it's like you take, I'm not equivocating anyone to be a donkey, but you know how you get the donkey to in the carrot and you
You need to
just
know.
and and with that canal crossing, the county approved it, the city council approved it for a 30-year pilot. We don't have the money for that. And that's one thing, you know, a lot of people got on McGreevy and stuff like that and whatnot. But during those debates, he was saying it. He was saying it. He was like, how will you get 200, you know, with how would you do something like this? I think he saw something that we didn't see. And, you know, I know he had a political past.
Yes.
Um, that a lot of people did not trust him from being governor, which I remember that. But he probably saw something that he said he ain't gonna get in politics. He's gonna continue doing his redevelopment program, which I wholeheartedly praise him for, because
Mhm.
that's great work that he's doing. But he saw something that he was like, "How are you gonna do this?" And I'm thinking, like, you know, okay, you know, if the developers had got all these tax abatements, I don't mind us getting into a little debt, even if I'm not going to be able to qualify. I'm not in the tax bracket to be able to do this. And now I'm
Understood.
finding out that we don't even have the money to do this. And now you giving more abatements out to in pilots of 30 years and stuff like this for this canal crossing, and the county approving it, Craig Guy, and they all in cahoots with this nonsense.
But you got to ask yourself, first and foremost, is that really going to happen? And will it happen during this administration? But let's take it one step further. We
Mhm.
don't have the money. So what do? We're in a deficit. We're hurting, but you're hiring people and you're giving them raises. That's what's mind-boggling. So someone asked me, so Maynard, what would you do if you was the mayor? I mean, what can the mayor do? We have land. There's ample of land in Jersey City that can be sold. Now, is it enough land to be sold to take care of that deficit? It's a possibility. But
Mhm.
and I do understand that the mayors um, don't want to just give away the land because the land can become precious in years to come. So don't do it. What you do is lease it. Lease the land. Lease the land to a developer for 50 years. And after 50 years, it comes back to us. By leasing their land and letting them to develop on it, keep the same terms, you know, now you can go and get a bond. And the cost of the bond can be exactly what you charge that developer for that land. So now that land, which is being leased, is paying for the bond. It's not affecting us at all because that's being paid for. Now you have a building that's going up with people in there. Let's say it's condos. You're going to receive some tax money from that. Along
Revenue.
with people, you got people spending money. The city can grow. That's just one. There's many other things that can be done. But before you come to me, that but my little one and two family house, let's go where the money is. Let's just be creative. Let's join forces with New Jersey Transit for some land that they may own that we can partner in and get that to build up and we can make money off of it. It's being done in Bayonne. But
Mhm.
I just think that we have an administration that's not looking to really save the people here. They're looking at where they can go later on and who they can bring in. And it's unfortunate and we're hurting.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's yeah, they're not thinking outside the box. They're just
At
thinking
all.
now. Excuse me. And you know, um, I give it to the governor. But one thing that she did say when she made that announcement about this loan and the deals of the terms of the loan, and that's why you have some assemblymen, like not assemblies person, excuse me, senators, and who I don't know his name. I think
McCurgy, Raj
yes,
McCurgy.
yeah, he came out and said like no, like we gotta redo this or renegotiate the terms. I know McKnight had came out and said something about it as well, Senator McKnight. And but why now? Like, so like you didn't think about this before. Now, I when she made her announcement and her press release, she was like, "Yeah," she was like, "Oh yeah, then we're gonna raise it." Maybe well, that's when it was at 20%, and she
Yeah,
was like, "Yeah, so we will have some skin in the game." And I'm like, "Okay, I know we got to pay the state back, but it's not just a grant and stuff. Only $15 million of that money is a grant, but." On the backs of hardworking people who why not, and then you ask about the developers and he's like, oh well, if I take them to court then we may lose because of the prior administration and stuff like that. They got sweetheart deals and stuff like that and whatnot, and there just has to be other ways. And Solomon, you're not a dumb guy. We
far
both
from it.
know that. And the people that you have around you aren't dumb. So like you said, you just gave one example of how to do it. So why does it have to be on the backs of the renter and the homeowner?
Yeah, we should be the last ones that you come to.
Correct. We should be at when you press that red button, it should be homeowners, renters, people on the backs of it shouldn't be.
Right.
And um like I said, I'm just sick and tired of us getting bamboozled out of, I've spoken to Esther Winter, who is a longtime Jersey City resident. I'm
Yes.
sure you know her, and she's like, I want an empty nest and keep my house. And she's like, I don't know if I can afford to even do that.
Can I put my NAACP hat on real quick?
Of course.
And I want you to understand, because it shouldn't be a racial issue, but I have to look at it this way because, it's no secret that for many, many years, the average Black American worked a little bit harder to get that house. And now we have it where as though there are certain people in the community that got the house from their grandmother or their grandmother's mother. They're not going to be able to keep it. I just met a young lady. She said, I'm barely making my mortgage. Wow. What's going to happen? I got another one that said, I get a phone call every day saying, can I buy your house? You should sell your house. I got one young man who came up to me and said, Mainor, there's a group of people that's walking around and knocking on the door and saying, hey, the taxes are going up. Here's my card. Call me. It's just that, I mean, where are we going? And it just makes me say that the thing to do is to tax them till they leave. And that's how I feel about majority of the minorities here in Jersey City. We cannot afford. Jersey City is not going to look like what we had 5 years ago. In 5 years, this city is going to be something totally different. Something totally different. And you're going to have to move. And if you should happen to sell your house, and let's say you walk away with $100,000 cash, how long is that going to take you? Where is it going to take you? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? We have a crisis. And the school system, the housing, the city is absolutely filthy. It's dirty. And now they're going and they're giving out tickets for every little thing. My car was parked on the corner. The front tire was on the yellow. They gave me a ticket. Front tire. In the back of my house, they're building a 20-unit apartment building. No parking. Where are they going to park these cars? We are going to, we're falling into something where though it's going to be so hard to get out of, because and they're still hiring. Yesterday, 2 more cops quit. The cops are leaving. They haven't had a contract in years. What are we doing? But you're giving raises and hiring assistants for the assistants. Every department was cut. Every department. But when you went into the councils, they went up 20-something% because they gave them a raise. It's not fair. And when you bring in Jersey City and you say, Jersey City, we have to come together. I promise you, there are people that would not have needed that raise to do the job to save our city. But when you bring someone in that has no ties to the city, the attitudes are different. The work ethic is different. They don't know Miss Mary lives in that house and she needs certain things. They don't know that there's a pothole over there that every certain time we got to fill it. They don't know about certain things. So where are we going? We're going to hurt ourselves, and we're hurting right now. The Blacks, the Spanish, the Indian, the Mexicans, we're getting hurt, and it's turning out to become. I don't even want to say this, but I'm gonna say it. Whereas though it's Jersey City against downtown Jersey City, and I say that only and not as a disrespectful way. It's just that the people downtown can afford to live there. They're in a position where they came from New York, so these prices are decent for them. It's not for us, and we're falling short. But what's happening is everything is starting to move up. It's only a matter of time. That 440, when that's built, it's going to be a whole lot of people living there. And I need to know, would that now have to become another ward? Because it's going to be maybe 20,000 people. Is that another ward, or does that just extend Ward F and Ward A? It's a problem. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You are good. You are on point. I'm in Ward B. I'm right over there. I'm between, to be transparent, I'm between on Virginia between Mallory and 440 between
Okay.
Bennett. And I believe that you have to do some districting because they talking about extending the light rail over there.
It's going over there.
So which the light rail is already having issues as it is. They want to have more. I'm in favor of that because I catch that to the city, to my job. But they talking about extending once that's done to extend the light rail from West Side over to Bayfront. So
Yes.
you would need representation over there. And then they talking about maybe having a ferry going over there as well. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, they're talking because it sits right on the water. So
This is
maybe
true.
having the ferry maybe going out there because you know how Newport got the ferry over
Yes,
there
they do.
and
Yes, they do.
Exchange Place got, so they talking about maybe having that once that's done. I know Bayonne just got into the lawsuit with the joint lawsuit with Hoboken and Jersey City about that um helicopter nonsense over
Yes.
there, heliport and stuff
Yes.
like that. But with the money that's coming in, you just don't know. I believe you would need, yes, you would need some redistricting. And if Joe Brooks, my councilman who I've had on this show before, I've pressed with him and talked to him about some things, um, and he probably would be, you would probably have to do a split between Ward B and Ward F and Gilmore and them, who I see jog down my block to go to the gym every morning. Um, but yeah, you would need some redistricting because then you're increasing the population.
Yes.
It's the census.
Yes.
Um, and then also Griselle Romero, if I'm excuse me if I'm saying her name wrong, but her father, I had her on the show a couple of weeks back, and she represents his Hispanic community, and she's like, "Look, I'm not into politics. I just want what's fair." And her father worked for the city for over 30 years
Okay.
and not hasn't gotten his pension.
Wow.
And yeah, and he's in his 90s. She had to take over power of attorney when her mother passed away and take over her father's affairs. And Solomon, when he became mayor, swore by it, said, "We're gonna make right of your father." Still nothing.
Nothing.
Now they're doing I see they knocked down, a lot of my street has one. If you go a little further up towards Mallory and Virginia, there's a lot of one family houses, and
Yes.
then as you
Yes.
get closer it gets down to two family, and then you have this big development here, and then the Starbucks and carrying
Yes.
on.
Yes.
But they just knocked down a one family house and put up, I see an open house for this new, big box, those type, what I'm
Yes.
talking about.
Yes. Yes.
I see the open house for the past 2 weeks. Place looks nice, but I can't afford that if I wanted to move in there. And or even try to be a landlord and be a homeowner or whatever. Even if I did NACA and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to try to afford that. I probably would get outbidded um, by an investor or whoever has cash on hand. So my point is that we brought up on the past show with her is that another thing that's going on is JCMUA. They have these meetings at 4 o'clock or whatever. They don't People really can't get to these meetings.
Hmm.
It be people either at work, and you're paying a connection fee.
Yes.
Said that she has people who are paying a cousin of hers who the house is not even online and connected to the sewer, and they're saying, oh, compliance fee, compliance fee, compliance fee, and they're getting bamboozled. And then her father's house, she's in real estate, same thing, compliance fee and stuff like that. Brought it up to the council, brought it up. I'm gonna bring it up next time we have a council meeting. Brought it up to Solomon. Oh, we can't. So she went to the JCMUA. They ping ponged her. They blame Viola, and they're like, "No, you're the administrator. You're And Viola said, "Well, no, JCMUA is the uh, administrator over. We just charge whatever they say." So, what's your take on There's a lot of foolery and bamboozlery with the minority community, and like you said, the Hispanic. I'm part. I may not look it, but I'm part Hispanic. I consider myself a mutt. I'm Haitian, African American, Cuban. That's what I call, because I got a
You're
lot
not
of
a
things
butt. You're
going
not a
on.
butt. You're not a butt. Uh,
But but yes, since in Rivera, which I wasn't a fan of him, but he did have a voice for a certain for a certain
with people.
or yeah. And so now there's that void there.
Yes.
Uh so what's your take on that and what I just said?
Well, I agree with you. You're 100% correct. And the most important thing about having representation is that it's easier for someone Hispanic to talk to someone who is Hispanic to get the point across. It's easier for someone Black to go to someone Black. Not saying that the person white is not going to take care of them, but if I went to someone Black, I feel a little bit more that you're going to really understand where I'm coming from. Because I didn't say the word radiator, because I was brought up saying radiator. You understand what I'm saying? So then we understand there's a common way of that we was brought up that you can understand. Now, man, I need this here. I got to do this here. The water, the wind coming in, I put the towel down by the door to keep the air out. Others may not understand. So there's to have someone represent you that understands where you're coming from is so important. And that's why when we look at our Danny Rivera, Danny, he's a Jersey City boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Jersey City boy. What do I mean when I say that? Because as a Black man, I can still go to Danny and have a conversation, and he's gonna understand why. He's Jersey City. He grew up in Jersey City. He understands. So what if he was downtown and I was uptown? There still was this type of respect that everybody in Jersey City had, no matter where you lived. That respect was there. Certain areas, you just don't go there,
Mm-hmm.
but it was there. When Jersey City had an issue, we came together. This is like the first time where we have a lot of people that has not grew up and was born and raised in Jersey City. Now, I'm not taking nothing from them. I don't care if you was here 1 day, 10 days, 10 years, 20. You're still Jersey City. If you're here, I respect you as Jersey City. And I would hope that you would love this city as much as I do and want to see us grow the right way. But unfortunately, when you have an administration that don't feel that way, when you have administration that says if you can't afford it, move. I'm going to live off $1. I'm going on Tonley Avenue instead of Tunley Avenue when you can't even pronounce it. There's a problem with that there. But again, it's the problem that we have is people like me. I did not do my due diligence. I did not. And that's why I'm fighting so hard, because we've been wronged. And if we sit back and let things go, shame on us. But there's enough of us that can see the wrong that's being done. There's enough of us that see what's coming. And if we don't act now, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah, because you had 200,000 registered. We got what, roughly what, 300,000 and growing in this
Mhm.
city, and
Yes.
you had 200,000 registered voters. And me and Erica Woods, I'm sure you familiar with
Yes,
her,
I am. Yes, I
and
am.
we spoke about this, and she was like, I don't want to hear nothing. Excuse me, the next election in 4 years. She was like, if y'all don't come out and vote, she was like, y'all don't show me y'all sticker saying y'all didn't vote. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't email me, don't call me, don't text me, nothing. 200 registered voters, 200,000 registered voters, and that's how Fulop had just kept on for 12 years. And I don't want to see that happen for another what, 8 years if Solomon doesn't do his due diligence in this four. And so we got to come out, we got to vote. It seems like a lot of people, some people are getting too comfortable. I've invited most of that council on. Only two people who have come on and done their due diligence, which I'll give them. I don't agree with everything. He's my councilman, Joe Brooks and Tom Zupa. Tom Zupa, by I will say, is a lawyer by trade, and seems like he wants to work, be fair for the people of General Square.
Hmm.
Um, Baggiano, if I'm saying his name right, did that for a long time, and but anybody who just rubber stamped with full up towards that end of his term,
Hmm.
you got it, you got out of
Hmm.
it. And so with Zupa, he seems like a breath of fresh air, and seems like he's like, let me get back to on this. Like when I contacted him, I didn't, it was just him directly. I didn't have to go through this person, that person, his assistant, that and the other. He was like, no, reach out to me anytime. He's not even my council person.
Right.
So, and I'm a little disappointed. I am disappointed with my council person. He said he'll want to come back on, but with all this coming on, we'll see what if he does. Brooks, he was one of the people that ready to vote for
I
the
know. It
nonsense,
shocked me when I saw that. It really
and
did.
so I got to hold accountability for that, and when he comes back on the show, because like, why were you ready? You talk about this democratic socialist, this that, and the other, and then you ready to vote for this tax increase, and you can't find other ways. These are supposed to be smart people. I don't get it, why you're ready. Him, Little, Ephros,
Yeah.
they were already just rubber stamp what the mayor wanted, and I thought we had got out of that with the last council. And the people who were on the council who were doing the rubber stamping for the past 8 to 12 years, like Ridley, were saying, hold on, pump the brakes. Lavaro, hold on, pump the brakes a little bit. I was given it, and the mayor, I guess he figured, since all of his ticket, he got a clean landslide of his whole ticket on that council. He figured that they was gonna do what they say, because he made a statement, oh, I'm disappointed and this, that, and the other, and carrying on. But you have to understand, these people have to go back into their wards. And when it comes, I just don't want to, when it comes to election time, I feel, and I'll invite them again, I'll reach out again. um I feel that Gilmore is getting a little out of touch. um uh I say hi to him every morning when he runs down to the gym and stuff like that, even though he's not my council person.
Hmm.
But I was very critical of his predecessor, Jermaine. And I just don't want to see that for him, because he was a big community person, for the people, by the people, and stuff like that. I don't want to see that for him. And when you want, I think you get a little passionate with about certain people when you want to see better for them.
Right.
Um, and especially when they represent one of the most important wards of the city. Ward F.
Mhm.
Ward F to me is one of the most important wards. All I haven't seen anyone do right by Ward F
In a
since
long time.
in a long time. Diane Coleman, Richardson, was Willie Flood? She
No.
was A. She was A, right?
Willie Flood never really was councilwoman. They put her
Oh,
in there for
they put it in there. That's right. She was at large. That's right. God rest her
Mhm.
soul. But yeah. So you just want the best, especially if of your color,
Right.
um, and of your you just want the best for them and not get into them and being part of that. This clique, and that's what it's seeming like it is. I've asked Griffin to come on. I've spoken to him prior to him becoming council person. We spoke at one of the council meetings. Matter of fact, when they was trying to get rid of Christ Hospital, when
Right.
Christ Hospital was going on, he was like, "Yeah, we could do eminent domain." We had a nice conversation. I wasn't even doing this at the time or whatever because I had started this back in December of 2025.
Okay.
So I'm only been doing this for a little bit of time, for about 6 to 8 months now. But now he's gotten in out of touch. You know, I we about transparency, and I know you can't comment on a lot of people, but it just seems like this click, and a lot of people are running and they're aspiring to be this, that, and the other. Pam Johnson, she's another one, does great for the community. Excellent at what she does over the years. Ask her to come on the show. Crickets, you know. I don't. And I've told you behind the scenes, I don't do gotcha questions. I don't criticize. I don't push people in a rock and a hard place to where they feel they need to, answer this question or whatever the case may be. And I don't get it when you ask your people. I have people who are not of my color coming on the show,
Huh.
like Zupa and Brooks. It's just very disappointing. So
Can I say
go
something?
ahead, go right
Because
ahead.
I need you to understand that uh, even though we are black people and we're supposed to look out for other blacks while looking out for everybody, to be quite honest, we don't have those politicians that we used to have. If
Mm,
Sandy Cunningham was here, you would not have Kane University on Kennedy Boulevard. Sandy would have found a way to save NJCU.
mhm.
If Glenn Cunningham would have been mayor, that hospital would still be there. And I say that because if Viola Richardson was the
God rest his
councilwoman in
soul.
Ward F, a
Mhm,
lot of things would not be the way they are. That change would not have taken place. And what am I saying? You don't have the politicians that we had back in the day, because the politicians we had back in the day, the most important thing to them was the people.
mhm,
If you want to know how a person leads, look at their spreadsheet of their budget. Look at their budget. Look at where the money is going. If most of their money is going into development, then that's what he most likely wants to depend on. You don't have, you cannot tell me that 600 kids work this summer. No, you
mhm,
could say that number a million and one times. We did not have 600 kids working this
mhm,
summer. We didn't. So what am I saying to you? We tend to get people that look like you and I. They'll go in and they'll get a job.
mhm,
And what they fail to understand, that what that turns into is uh, uh, um, that turns into temporary pay for permanent disrespect. I'm going
Mm.
to pay you for this short amount of time so that I can disrespect your people for the next 20 years. And that's what it's turned out to be. We don't have the people like we used to have in office. I'm not saying that those that are in office are not good. I'm just saying that the things that's taking place would not have taken place with a Glenn Cunningham, Sandy Cunningham, Viola Richardson, even a Harvey Smith. We had
Yep.
people that cared about the people first, and then they moved on and they did whatever else they had to do. Did they make waves? Sure. They fought. Bobby Jackson, come on, bro. This man was a genius when it came to politics. He can tell you what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. We don't have that. Now the world is changing over to let me just put myself in a position of comfortability. And
Mhm.
that's the problem because when you're comfortable, 15 other families are going without. How can you go and give and vote for someone to get a raise, vote for someone to get a higher salary, and then lay off a family, 15 families? Where, come on, where are we going? Where are we going? But I would say this, that a lot of times the best politician is the one that's not in office because we have all the answers until you get in there and see the book and say, oh my God. But at that time is when you step back and you look at what's most important. And what's most important in Jersey City should be the people of Jersey City. I am a firm believer we invest in so much, but if we were to take the opportunity and invest in our children, the returns will be so much greater because that's the future. But unfortunately, we don't have that today.
That's very true because that summer fun, I was a part of that. And I remember, matter of fact, I was in the paper at the time back when we had papers. Um, um, I remember working with Summer Fun, worked with a nonprofit on Bergen Avenue before that building was there, right next to the post office. That was a lot for
Yes,
years,
yes.
and you remember that. And we cleaned that up to make that a garden. And I remember the nonprofit that worked with us. They said if you they we cleaned up, we got gloves, and they said if you see anything outside of a bottle or whatever, a needle, because they what we did find needles and stuff like that, unfortunately. But they said if you see that, you get an adult. And we made that made that before, this is back before developers were snatching up lots and stuff like that. We made that into a community garden and stuff like that and stuff. And I was in the paper for, raking and,
There it is. There
cleaning
it
up
is. Our
stuff like
future. And now you're
it.
interviewing me. But let me just say
Exactly.
this, Mr. Grayson, and I want you to really understand. I am not a man that have all the answers, but I'm smart enough to go and get to people and surround myself with those that are a lot smarter than me that can make things happen. The NAACP right now, we're not as strong as we should be.
Mhm.
But we are at a point where we're growing, and we help more people that are not members than that are. I don't put everything in the newspaper. I don't put everything that we do on social media to try to get the kudos. Oh, they doing this, that, and the other. No, what's more important is that when Miss Mary comes to me and say, "I'm having this issue. Can you help me?" and I help her, and she's satisfied, I'm happy with that. The only
Mhm.
thing I ask Miss Mary to do is to become a member. And I ask her that because why? I don't want to use the resources that are meant for our members on people that are not members. And trust me when I say it, we help more non-members than we do members. And
Wow.
it's behind the scenes. We don't have to glorify it. But I say that only to say that we put ourselves in a position that we was absent for years. We're back and we're going to be stronger. And the reason I say that is because that mentality that we have is the same mentality that every Jersey City resident must have. We love this city. And if we're not careful, we're going to be priced out. And it's not a black, white, purple, or green thing. It's a financial thing. It's
Mhm.
money that we're being priced out. And that's because we're not doing, again, I'm gonna say it, our due diligence in putting in people that looks out for our best interests. And until we do the right thing, we're going to always find ourselves in the position that we're in.
Real quick, I want to show you from a real estate person, a friend of mine who I met on social media. She's really been hustling out there, and she posted something on social media. I'm going to bring it up to the stage.
Okay.
This is, let's see, for viewers. Oh no, I meant to bring that up, and hold on, let's see.
There it is.
Can you see that?
Yes.
This is Hudson County, Hoboken, buying houses. Jersey City, I believe, has the Weehawken. We neck and neck
With the price of a home.
for the price of a home, which is ridiculous. For a price of this is on average, median.
Does that say 700?
720,000. Yeah, that's why I said that house that just went up 2-3 houses from me. I can't afford that. And keep in mind, I work a lot of overtime and stuff like that just to make ends meet. I'm not well off. I'm renting.
But look at a house at $700,000 and taxes sky high, because you know we sit and say that 15.5, but that's just your city taxes. That's not the school, correct, and that's not the county. When you add all that up, how are we doing this?
Which both of them just went up on.
But we're only focusing on the city taxes.
Correct. Which both of them just went up on. And let me bring this out. And both of them just went up on. And that's a whole nother show for a whole nother time for Board of Ed in itself, even though you know, the city doesn't govern Board of Ed for that, but it makes no sense. And it's like, how do you live, like you said? But real quick, we're gonna do our rapid fire. I'm gonna take a quick 10-second break just to play a little commercial, and then we're gonna come back. So 1 second. Let's see here. Rapid fire. So let me just go straight back to, I'm gonna bring us out.
You're watching a Grayson Media production. Thank you for watching. I'm Grayson. We'll be right back. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the content. We'll be right back. Grayson Politics Live. I'm Grayson. Please support the show via the Cash App and Zelle handles and by liking, following, and subscribing. And catch us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. Grayson out. Grayson Politics Live. I'm Grayson. Please support the show via the Cash App and Zelle handles and by liking, following, and subscribing. And catch us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. Grayson out. Grayson Politics Live. I'm Grayson.
Okay, we are back. Now we're time for rapid fire, the last part of our show, where you can just you don't have to, whatever comes to mind, you just answer whatever, or you can so it's all Jersey City related, of course. Jersey City, affordable or unaffordable?
Unaffordable right now.
Yes. 15.5 municipal tax rate increase necessary or too much?
Entirely too much.
Mm-hmm. Cutting spending or raising taxes?
Cutting spending.
Mm-hmm. Canal crossing, good deal or needs improvement?
Needs improvement.
Mm-hmm. 30-year pilot, too long or justified?
Too long.
20% affordable housing, enough or not enough?
Not enough, because we don't know what affordable means.
Correct. Just to ask you, President, why don't we? I work in the city, and they have just to go off topic real quick, off script. They have a lottery system. Why don't we adopt that in Jersey City, where they have the 20%, and you apply and stuff like that? So with these developers, like for example, General Square, 20% of those units could have been affordable. I could have been living right on top of the path and stuff like that and whatnot, and having a great commute to the city and stuff like that, and my family and this, that, and the other. I don't understand why. And I've asked my council person, and he said something about Bergen Avenue and this and hoopla and all this foolery. We don't have that system here. And with all this development that's going up, we need that. We adopt that system. I'm not saying that everyone has the answer, but I've even criticized and talked to when I've talked to the two council people on the council, and I said, why won't Solomon go over to his interstate colleague and talk to Mandami? He doesn't have all the answers, but he seems like he had a mess too from Adams, but
Yes,
he seems like he's getting some things right. And it's like, take a little, if you don't know, or if you're not having an inkling of something, it doesn't hurt to ask for help or whatever, even whether it's behind the scenes, like you said, that you do for the non-members that you help, or whatever. I don't understand why people can't humble themselves and do that, and why we can't have that here in Jersey City, that 20% lottery system.
Because it makes too much sense. And you may not get the person that you really want to help in that 20%. It makes too much sense. Again, if you're not directly for the people, they're not going to be included.
Got it. Property tax relief or seniors for, this is something that we didn't jump on. Property tax relief for seniors, yes or no?
Yes, definitely. But I think it's a little bit too late. Don't they get that in April or something like that there? I mean, I don't know. Does that take effect? I don't know much about it, so I really want to be careful how I answer. Any type of relief for a senior, I'm all for.
Yeah, because my aunt is on a fixed income, lives in Ward A, and owns a home, and for the past 30, 40 years, and I got to ask her, like, how are you doing it? Rent control, strengthen, weaken, or leave it alone?
No, strengthen it, especially now. We have to.
Development in Jersey City, too much, too little, or wrong priorities?
I don't want to make the developers an enemy. I just think they need to be a little bit more inclusive to the needs of what we need, what we have here. If you're not going to create affordable housing in your building, then you should be giving a ton of money to our school system to help our kids, help little Johnny get to read, so that we could take that $1.1 billion budget they have, and if that won't be put on top of the tax, the property owners.
I agree. Biggest issue facing Black Jersey City residents?
They're being pushed out. They're being outpriced. They're being priced out of the area. And the unfortunate thing is that the area that they're being pushed out of is not the area that most people want to live in yet.
Yeah. All of that put in JC economic development and all that, and putting that annex there at that, so people could come up, and that was just
Yeah.
facade for me.
Mhm.
Biggest issue facing Jersey City overall.
The economy, the tax, and the quality of life of living in Jersey City is absolutely horrible. It's almost at the worst I've ever seen it. The morale between the police and the fire, the teachers, no one wants to be here anymore. No one. I've met people that I grew up with that was also Jersey City strong, and they're like, "Man, I think it's time for me to go," and that's unfortunate. Where do we go with that?
Yeah, you can't talk about community policing when the cops are not getting paid enough, and they want to. You can't have them walk the beat and stuff like Cunningham used to have them, and ride the bikes and stuff like that, and walk the beat and stuff. If they're not getting paid, and if they go into Irvington or Saddle River,
they're
or
leaving. They're going to leave.
Jersey City government transparency, A through F.
F. We have no idea what's going on.
I agree with that. Jersey, let's see what else. Last but not least, relationship between City Hall and the African American community, strong, improving, or needs work?
Needs a whole lot of work. You didn't want to make the gentleman Tommy Best the director of recreation after saying you would do so. So you didn't do it. Okay, granted, you didn't do it. You then there was that position paid $140,000. So then you gave him another job paying him $100,000 just to keep him quiet. Again, temporary payment for permanent disrespect. But then you put someone else in there and you don't give him the salary of the 140, you raise it to 200. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? So you deduct 40 from the man for the position that you want him to have. You give him a position that I have no idea what Tommy Best is doing. He's such a good man. He is a pillar in the community. He is well respected, but you just treated him like he's Jersey City trash. And that's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it. Again, temporary payment, permanent disrespect. But we won't forget.
Yeah. So that's it for me. I want to thank Jersey City NAACP president, NAACP president, excuse me, Charles Mainor. President, tell me how, and tell us how we can become members of, because I've always wondered that, and I'm interested how we can become members of our local NAACP.
I would love for all of us to be. Or you can go on to, we have our a Facebook page, Jersey City NAACP. If you come on and you was to message us, we will take you through the whole thing, send you the application. It's $30 to be a member. $30. You can send it to the state, or you can Zelle it right to our account, and it's in. You become a member, you'll get your card right away. If you needed help and you reach out, we'll come to you and we'll assist you with anything. It's the largest Black organization strong in America. Do we need to come together? Yes, we need to come together. Can we solve all the problems in the world? No, but together we can make a dent. So if you have any questions, if you need Charles Mainor, whether you're a member or not, reach out. I'm on Facebook. My number is everywhere. If you WhatsApp, all the social medias, you can reach out for me. The one thing you got to understand, though, if you do reach out for me, I'm going to respond. All my responses may not be what you want to hear, because I'm very transparent, and I'm going to call a spade a spade. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And if I can help you, I'm going to help you. If I can't, I'm going to put you in a position to get the help that you need. And I thank you, Mr. Grayson, for allowing me to come on and giving me that opportunity to ask people to become members of the NAACP.
No, of course, and I'm gonna commit myself to become a member and practice what I preach and do that, because it's very important. Prior to your predecessors and stuff like that, we haven't been as strong, and like you said, and but now we have you in, and we have the leadership, and we need to politicians can't do it all for us, so we need to come together and be strong, and when we have these meetings, speak out on behalf, so they can hear us and do what we need them to do, because we pay their salary, not the other way around.
Understood.
But always, the guests should get the last word. Somebody from Bergen Lafayette, somebody from West Side, somebody from the Heights, just somewhere in Hudson County. Maybe there's a homeowner worried about their taxes. Maybe there's a renter like myself worried about their next lease. Maybe there's a senior wondering whether they still could be afford their home, or they lived in 40 years. Be involved in your community, because we're getting we're at a critical tipping point and moment right now for Jersey City.
Yes.
But with that being said, this is Grayson Politics Live for August 25th, 2026. I thank you for watching. I'll keep on social media for our next show. And great, as always, Grayson out. Thank you, Assemblyman. We'll be on I'll speak to you on the back end.
Okay.
Just for 2 minutes. Give me one more. Let me just end the show. Thank you for watching Grayson Media, a Grayson Media Inc. production. We'll see you on the next show. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. Grayson out.